Hello, hi, welcome to the series of Attuned to Prosperity classes. This is the first one and it was meant to be live, but as I went live, as I pushed the button to go live, Facebook wouldn't allow me to go live. But anyway, so I decided to record a video, and if you've got questions, please do comment on them below, and hopefully, fingers crossed, from now on, I will be able to go live when Facebook sort out their stuff and fix my account and allow me to go live. Anyway, my name is Judy V. I'm new in this environment as my first live. It will be the first of many, and we'll be focusing on Attuned to Prosperity, which is my business, Attuning to Prosperity. So essentially, I empower and facilitate entrepreneurs to become financially free by attuning to prosperity, collapsing time, and building exponential wealth. I've been doing this for a very long time, but this is not about me. And whilst my background and my story is important to what I do and why I do what I do, I'll go into that over the next coming weeks. Because today I want to share something with you that's extremely pivotal. What has been extremely pivotal over the past few weeks or couple of weeks, with a lot of my clients who have just finished one of my programs called Attuned to Cash. And I just wanted to share that with you. It is the one thing that we can do, you can do right now, that will start to shift your relationship with money and with wealth and with cash. So Attuned to Cash is an incredibly powerfully transformational program in terms of the energetics that we carry around money and our vibration around money and our relationship with money, not on a transactional or tactical level, but on a deep level, right down deep in our subconscious brains. So often what happens in this, I'm going to share with you the task and how I shared it with my clients in Attuned to Cash. Okay, so that you can literally, when you're finished here, start exploring with the idea, start exploring with the concept, and start witnessing the changes. Because when my guys did this in Attuned to Cash that we ran last week, when they did it, I'm judging from the feedback I've got from them, I have to say that this was possibly the number one biggest experience they had, because it was so instant. It changed things instantaneously. And a lot of them, the strap line to Attuned to Cash was 10K in 10 days. So a tall order, isn't it? I mean, that's quite a big claim, right? Now, a lot of them did do that, okay? A lot of them did slightly under it, and some of them did way in excess of it, and are still making a lot more as a result as well of what they learned in Attuned to Cash. Others that didn't quite make the 10K mark, they have developed streams of income that will get them there, and a lot more in the process, because they have shifted their alignment just by a few degrees, but makes an exponential amount of difference. So, and I really believe that when I share this with you and you apply it, I really believe it will make a considerable difference in your life and in your business as well. Because the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs is, and one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs is feeling good about how much they're charging for their products and services. And feeling good about charging, feeling good about selling, feeling good about them being good enough for selling their products and services. So there's a lot of issues there, and it all stems back to issues around our money coding, which is which are developed when we're precognitive, when we're so young. That's when they start. And so essentially, we all have emotional coding. We know that, right? We all have emotional coding. Classic example of how that emotional coding shows up for us is when we hear a song. You hear a song that resonates for you, that straight away takes you back to a moment in time. Was it your first kiss, your first dance? Was it your first day out of school, after finishing school, whatever it was, there might be a song that will come up that no matter where you are, how you're feeling, it will take you back to that moment, that amazing moment, that moment that filled you with joy and inspiration and just felt really good to the core of your body. And you'll start singing along with it. And it doesn't have to be necessarily that good a song either, okay? It doesn't have to be that good a ditty, right? But it will take you back there and you will immediately emotionally be in that place, right? That's an example of emotional coding that we have. And not always are these emotional codings great, right? This classic example of one that music can do to us. We also have equally money coding. Now, because that money coding has been created from when we were so young, precognitive, that we just absorb, we're just sponges at that age, you know, like really when we're like born until we're about 4 or 5 years old. We're just sponges and we just take on information. We don't make any logic at it. We just absorb it and then we play it out throughout our life and we reinforce it. So, and here's the thing, because it's money coding that's been created when we were so young, we have no framework for it. So we can't, when we're triggered by it, when we respond to it, we can't say, oh, that was because of that moment in time or that moment in time, because it was formed most of the time when we were so young. So we can't locate it, all right? And all it is, how it plays out is surround sound, loudspeaker in our head. And therefore we take it as truth instead of just money coding. So we believe it. We take it as honest to goodness truth, right? So what happens is when these money blocks come up or show up and we react to them, they become truth. They become our reality, and then we react to it, and we react to it as a challenge, with an energy of fear, of pain, of discomfort, of challenge, of suffering. You know, something in this stuck in the negative emotion scale of the levels of consciousness. All right, so we get stuck in, is it fear, shame, guilt, regret? What is that? What is it that challenge these money blocks create? What are the emotions that these money blocks create for us every single day of our life in business, or not in business, outside of business too? And that is the biggest challenge that we experience in our humanness, because we've got two parts of us. We've got a part of us that is run by our ego, our amygdala, the hindbrain, the lower brain, some people call it reptilian brain or critical brain. It belongs in the back of our head here. And that is where our ego, that's the fight or flight or freeze zone. Okay, so we respond to that all the time. And that role is to keep us physically alive. Okay, that's this role is to keep us physically alive and keep us safe. Right, so that part of our brain is limited, it's finite, and it keeps us in survival. And when we're talking about building exponential wealth, we can't be run by that part of our brain because it is limited. Right, to grow exponential wealth, we have to be in the full brain. We have to be in the other part of our brain that thrives in abundance. And that is in what we call the forebrain, which is where we have abundance, where we are connected to the universal intelligence, where we are connected to the truth of our heart and soul. The challenge is when we are triggered. The fight or flight is what kicks in. When we are triggered, it's the ego fight or flight that kicks in, and we respond to that. In the universe, in the quantum field, there is infinite possibilities and infinite potentiality at all times. There is no limit. But in the amygdala, in the ego, it's finite. It's fight or flight. It's finite, right? So we respond to survive. Now, when we respond to survive, we're responding to that challenge. And when we're entangling with that challenge, with that money block that's come up, with that issue, that emotional trap that's come up around our comfort around money and earning money and increasing our prices or charging what we're worth, our products are worth, whatever it might be, that challenge we entangle with from the egoic place. And when we're entangling with that, we're entangling with fear, doubt, shame, guilt, regret, lack. And when we entangle with that, we get more of that. That's how the universe works. We manifest, we create, we get what we focus on most of the time. And when we're focusing on the challenge most of the time, we get more challenge. So I'm going to put it to you, and this is what my clients did. I'm going to put it to you that when you observe yourself being challenged by something that's coming up that could be the result of a money coding from when you were really young, when that comes up, to instead of entangling with it and it becoming the dominant focus of your energy in that moment, instead of doing that, observe it. That's interesting. That's interesting. Why are you doing that? Have a conversation with it. Don't entangle with it. Be observant of it. Be the observer in that moment in time of that experience, whatever might be coming. Is somebody not paid you? Somebody cancelled? Somebody debating with you, trying to haggle with you? Somebody debating with you whether you should charge cheaper? Are you uncomfortable about going out and selling? Whatever it might be, when you notice that coming up for you, stop, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, and observe it. That's interesting. Where do you come from? Don't entangle with it. Instead, instantly replace it. Instead of entangling with it, replace it with a vision of what it is you would love. What is the outcome you would love? Right. If you're finding yourself a bit uncomfortable going out there and selling a product at $997, euros, rands, pounds, whatever it might be $997, but you're feeling slightly uncomfortable. What is it? And that's coming up for you, and like you're resisting it, or you're feeling uncomfortable, whatever it might be. In that moment, step back, take a deep breath, observe it. Interesting. Don't entangle with it. Don't give it energy. Don't feed it. Right? Don't feed it. Don't give it energy. Instead, focus on your desire. Focus on what it is that you would truly love. How many do you want to sell? I'd love to sell 10. Get entangled with that energy. I would love to sell 10 or more to my ideal client. I would love to sell 20 of these programs by the end of this month. I would love to empower people with this product. Focus on what it is that you would love in that moment. What happens when you do that is you start to master or learn and then master walking in duality. Because the world, the universe works in duality. There is duality everywhere, and everything we do, there is duality. I will dive more into this over the coming weeks, but right now, just leave it at the fact that we are in a world of duality. There's for everything great we experience not so great. For every light, there's dark. For every good, there's bad. It's a world of duality that we live in. So when you are able to observe that duality, right? Because often what happens when we entangle with the lack or the fear or the shame, the guilt of the money block that's coming up, that we become that because we focus on that and we can't think outside of that. It's like creating cholesterol in our arteries. That's how damaging it is, because we cannot see beyond that. It literally cuts our limbs off in terms of our ability to be inspired and to be creative and to be objective about what it is that we are doing. And we are here to live extraordinary lives. We're here to live in abundance and prosperity. We are here to live to the fullest extent of our potential, not be limited by the perceptions of poor coding that we have taken on board precognitively. The thing is, our brain is neuroplasticity. We can reframe it, we can reshape it. It is not cast in stone. And we get to do that by our moment by moment choices. So when we don't entangle with the challenge, we rather shift our focus, and in that moment, if we're not clear about it, if we're not clear about what it is we would love to create or where our desire is, there's a trigger. Anchor that trigger in. Okay, I'm challenged, as I'm feeling a bit icky, whatever it might be. Okay, fine, I observe. So what is it that I would love? What is it I would love to create? Focus on that and watch how you effortlessly start to navigate through this challenge and start creating what you would love, more of what you would love, less of what you don't want. Okay. This is what I call mastering the double glazing effect. So the double glazing I learned when we moved from South Africa to the UK many years ago, now 8-9 years ago, and the UK properties have double glazing, 2 panes of glass in the window, right, to keep condensation or keep it keeps the heat in. That's it. That keeps the heat in. So the double glazing effect, as I talk about it, is when we apprise those 2 panes of glass away, when we understand the 1 pane of glass is the voice of our ego, which is limited, finite, all right? It's always going to be looking at survival, not thriving, right? So that's limited. So that's the 1 pane of glass. The other pane of glass is our forebrain, or our connection with the universal intelligence, or our heart brain, all right, whichever you might call it. And again, I will go into that in more detail in future classes of Attuned to Prosperity. But those 2 panes of glass, when we start to master prizing them apart and learning the difference between what is the voice of our amygdala or our ego and the voice of our heart and soul, we then get easy access to our intuition, and we start being able to consciously listen to, be guided by, respond to the truth of our heart and soul, the voice of our heart and soul, the inner voice who is the truth of who we are, not the mortal challenges that we experience, not the perceptions that we have that have created emotional blocks or money blocks or emotional coding or money coding. That intuition is the voice of the truth of who you are. And the more conscious we can bring that, the more consciously aware we can be of that voice and be guided by that voice. Let that be our North Star, where we are connected to infinite possibilities at all times, infinite potentiality at all times. When we can be guided by that, we go a long way to mastering our life and giving ourselves the opportunity to attuning to prosperity, collapsing time, and building exponential wealth. And this is what my clients started to master in Attuned to Cash recently. Now, next week, I am actually running a 3-day masterclass called The Revolution. Now, I honestly believe now more than ever, we are on the cusp of a revolution, an energetic revolution. We are shifting away from the hustle when it comes to entrepreneurship, creating wealth, building exponential wealth. We're moving away from the chase of the money to rather being wealthy, attuning to wealth, attuning to abundance, attuning to prosperity in all areas of life where money is the byproduct of that attunement. I honestly believe we're on the cusp of a revolution, a change in how we are in our life, in society, in business, and how we as women are forging the way forward in this revolution. I really believe that we're on the cusp of an extraordinary revolution where we can start using the feminine energy of creation, the feminine energy of the voice of our heart and soul to create. And this is what I call marrying our inner technology with our outer technology. The inner technology being the feminine energy of the intuitive voice, the desires of the heart and soul, and attuning to that. And marrying that with the masculine energy of doing, the tactical. But it starts with listening to the voice of the heart and soul and accessing your intuition. That's where it starts. And when we hear the voice of our intuition, when we're guided by our voice of our intuition, we do not feel fear. We don't experience fear. We don't experience lack. We don't experience scarcity. We are abundant. So on the Revolution Masterclass, I'm going to be showing how we have this intuition. Because some people say, oh, I don't know how to access my intuition. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it sounds like. I want to show you that you have it. It's there. All you need to do is understand prizing apart the double glazing. And I'm going to take you through a process, and you will see it in action. You will witness it, and you will be gobsmacked when you experience how when I take you through this process, it's nothing to do with meditation. It's got nothing to do with nothing to do with that. It's a very simple process, but you will witness your intuition in action. And when we start seeing that, trusting that, we can start truly exploring our ability to be guided and to live by that infinite place of possibility, of abundance, of prosperity, instead of responding and entangling with lack, fear, shame, guilt. Because we are here to be extraordinary, and we are here to live abundant lives in all areas of life, not just financially, in all areas of life, and to have the freedom that wealth brings us. So I've got the link in this post, in the comments. I've got the link in the comments. So if you would love to join, it's a free masterclass, 60 minutes a day for 3 days. I'm going to take you on the most extraordinary journey you have experienced in a very long time. And it will be my pleasure to have you join me and many other people who've already signed up. So if you've got any questions about anything I've said, please put them in the comments, tag me, and I will respond. And hopefully, fingers crossed, by next week, I'll actually be able to do a real live, okay? And we'll take this conversation further. So the Revolution Masterclass starts on Monday 27th for 3 days, 60 minutes a day for 3 days. And it is free to join. I'll put the link in the comments, and yeah, experience it. See what comes out. It's going to be extraordinary. I have run it before with a group of my clients, and it has been mind-blowing. Promise you. All right, guys, take care. Love and gratitude. Thank you for listening. Catch you soon. Bye.